What can you create a unique course around? Do you feel like everybody's already created all of the courses, and what's the point of you creating one? So that's quite a familiar dilemma, and it's quite a familiar question as well. So I thought today I'd just hop on and dig into some ideas around this story that you're telling yourself, that there's no point in creating a course because everybody's always already created one in your thing. Right, so I'm Susan Weeks, and I'm here to help and support you create an online course. I cut out your learning curve, and yeah, I want you to create and launch your course, make it faster and easier for you. And do you know what? Then you can start making some money from it as well. We can't make money on something that doesn't exist. It's just in your head. Right, so this idea about what makes you unique. So this last week I've started sharing snippets of my story. It helps people to connect with you, and you know, people know me from all sorts of different ways. So I've started sharing my story, and I've done it in following just the classic W questions. All right, so the what, the who, the why, where, when. So it's a useful way of breaking down your story into smaller snippets, and creates more posts for us to create as well, doesn't it? We don't have to do one massive one. And we can also throw in a how too. So we've got, is there like 5 or 6 W questions that we can explain and help share our story, and that helps people to connect with us. And after all, that's how we meet people, isn't it, in life? We kind of ask questions and share bits of our story as we're getting to know people, and it's just the same here as well. So you might want to go back and look at some of the posts I've been creating there. And really what I'm asking you to do in those posts is, when did you last share your story? Or even just kind of sit down and try and pick out, maybe using that structure of the W questions, pick out what it is about you that is unique, and what it is about you in your story that you can share with people, because then people can, as I said, connect with you, and it builds that, you'll have heard it 1,001 times, this kind of know, like and trust factor, so that when you do offer or start talking about courses or classes, then people think, oh yeah, do you know, I really like her, I like her stuff, I'd really like to learn from her. All right, and so it starts to make you unique, and the more unique and different aspects you can bring into your work and your courses, potential courses, then it makes the level of competition kind of fall away. All right, so let's just dig that into it a bit more. So people also want to know, are you a good fit for them? Do you have like aligned kind of values and ideas and that kind of thing? So stories, really important. So you might want to just start digging through parts of your story that make your offering unique, and that you can bring into helping people to learn in your courses. Now, the things that help make you unique and that make your art unique would be things along the lines of your style, the style of artwork that you create, the subject matter. You know, you can create embroideries under anything under the sun, plus all the abstract kind of styles as well. So there's just a kind of an infinite variety of things that you can create your art, textile art, embroidery, pottery, macrame, whatever it is, cake decorating. There's an infinite subject area there. So you've already, by saying, hey, I'm an artist, you've already identified your style, the subject, the techniques. So it may be one specific technique that you focus in on, or you're kind of pushing techniques into different ways and experiment, or you're very much into the kind of purist traditional format and really digging down into kind of technical excellence, Or is it all about blobs of colour, or making an animal really look like an animal? Or, you know, what are those aspects in terms of the techniques, the kind of ideas and interests that you have work into your artwork as well. And then the medium, so different styles of thread or fabric or combining different mediums. So you've already been through that journey with your artwork, and obviously these things evolve as well, but let's bring that idea of enthusiasm and abundance for this like infinite amount of topics for artists and art. Then let's bring that into that same thinking and bring that into your creating your online courses. All right, so I've just got a few notes there to keep me on track. So people have said to me while I've been discussing this subject, or people have asked me and said, oh well, Sue, do you know what's the point of me creating a course? Because, well, you know, the Royal School of Needlework, they've got courses, and, you know, textile artists, they've got them kind of monthly thing, and, you know, XYZ famous embroiderer, they've got classes. What's the point? What is the point? You know, they've already got a big audience, and they've already got their lists of people, and they've got all of these courses. What's the point? Well, did you think about that when you decided to set up into being an artist? Did you already think, oh, well, I won't bother being an artist because the Royal School of Needlework exists already, or XYZ, and there's all these other artists? Yeah, so I think just because some of the bigger names have got online courses, what that shows is there is actually demand. And if this kind of global pandemic has brought anything to our attention, it's the fact that there is a demand for online learning in general, but online learning in particular, and all of the benefits that brings to us. So it's showing that if there's people offering those, then it shows that there's a demand there, all right? And the other thing is, again, just coming back to the fact that you've decided that you're going to be an artist or creative entrepreneur, you've got some craft or art that you are engaged in, then did you think, oh, well, there's no point in being an artist, you know, when it comes to selling your work because everybody else sells their work, or creating kit, oh, everybody else has kits, selling materials and supplies, oh, everybody else has a shop, yeah? No, there's no point in offering weekend workshop classes because everybody else does that. No, of course not. You know, you've gone on there, you've maybe got some kits, you sell a few supplies, you do your weekend workshops. So there's, you know, I think I think it comes from an attitude of, I think a lot of it comes from fear, really. And so that's why I do encourage you to like really dig down into what it is that makes you unique, and therefore what unique angle you can bring into creating an online course. And really, there's what you need to do is just identify out of all of those different aspects. Just get some post-it notes. I love getting post-it notes out. You know, get some post-it notes out with different colours even. Makes it more visually interesting. And just start making a note of different things that you can bring in to create a unique course that people would love to come and learn from you. So I've got, I did a bit of a brainstorm, and so we've got things like the techniques that you would like to teach. You know, do you already get people going, oh, how did you do that? And if you've got several people who are always asking, how did you do that? There's a clue. There's an idea for a course. So the different techniques that you do, or how you combine the techniques, how you use the techniques, how you're pushing the techniques, how fabulous you are at doing that techniques to get a really good finish. So, you know, there could be 10, 20, 30 things just about technique that you can do differently from what's already there. Style. Some people like really traditional things, others like really bright modern things, others like kind of combining the two. There's abstract, there's making things look real, there's landscapes, there's just, again, in terms of your style and how you use colour. Some people do a lovely muted palette, others are all about bright blasts of colour, using materials in a different way. what level can you teach at? What level of person wants to learn from you? Can you attract new beginners? There's lots of those around at the moment. New beginners with a certain style of thing that gives them a good level of success at the end of it. What are you really going for the experts? Are you going for the people who've dabbled in all sorts of things and want to combine the dabbling? Yeah. So hello, a few people joining there. So I'm just looking at different ways that you can pull out what could be unique enough to feel like you can create a course in it, rather than just kind of thinking, oh, everybody's already done all the courses, there's no point in me creating one. Yeah, so a bit of creative thought. You're creative people, you're good at doing that. So different, pick out all the things about technique, style, the level, who you're aiming your courses and training and expertise at, the duration. Is it something that you want people to just do in a couple of hours? Is it something that they could do in a day? Is it something that people would like to learn 2 hours a week every week for 10 weeks or something? You know, so the duration can make it unique as well. The way in which it's delivered can make it unique as well. The level of support and the level of community that you bring into that course or don't, that can make it unique. The materials that you're using. Are you using things that people kind of, you know, if they're like me, they go and buy at these shows and then they go and put in the cupboard, because then you think, oh, actually, yeah, the woman was really fabulous demonstrating it on the day and that's why I bought it. But, you know, I can't remember what to do with it now. Yeah, I'm sure we've all got stuff like that stashed away. So any kind of good ways you have of using materials, either traditionally or you're combining them, or kind of just new ways of that you've found by kind of happy accidents. The medium, so, you know, all right, if you want to teach gold work, oh, well, Royal School of Needlework has gold courses. Okay, yeah, they do. But that doesn't stop you from having one and doing it in a different angle or a different subject matter. Because again, somebody might want to learn, let's say, gold work, but they don't want to do it in a traditional flower or, you know, that kind of thing. What they want to do is some kind of modern approach of doing it or combining it. So again, you can look at what makes your work unique, and therefore people are asking you, you know, is that something you can teach? The level of community that you want to build around that. You know, people use online courses now as a way of meeting other stitchers and like a networking event really as well, and look forward to joining in and showing and sharing progress. And your audience, is that an audience of hobby crafters? Is it somebody who wants to learn this so they can earn money in a job? Is it kids, getting kids started with things, looking for rainy day activities? Is it older people whose fingers aren't so good anymore and can't really peer at small things, but, you know, could still learn from you? What different aspects of audience are there other areas of audience that you could develop and think about as well? So there's kind of 9 or 10 different angles, subject matter as well, and your interests. This is where being unique comes into it. So say, for example, you absolutely love things to do with endangered animals, or, you know, the state of the world, and your work reflects that, then that would be something that other people who are interested in that and want to learn about embroidery and textile art or pottery or whatever, then that would interest them. Whereas somebody offering the same kind of style but with something to do with, like, you know, traditional embroidery from the Middle Ages or something, they might not be at all interested in that. So this is why you've almost got that infinite variety of topics that you could share and create a course around. So I do encourage you with this to sit down, say, with some different coloured post-its. I find that easy because then you can kind of arrange things around and group them, and just do a massive brainstorm for about 10 minutes. Brainstorm, brain dump, you know what I'm talking about. and kind of just put down those different aspects, your interests, your topics, your topic matter, your subject matter, the materials, the way in which you use them, the duration, your audience, what other audience could you attract other than the one that you already have? Yeah, so pick out those things, put them on some post-its, and then almost put them away. And then a day later, come back, spread them all out. And it's almost like looking at something with a different pair of eyes, because then you start to notice things and you think, do you know what? Yeah, actually, if I combine those 2 and 3 things, that actually is quite unique. Nobody's got anything like that. So there we are. That's your little action task today, is to, and when we say we're talking about story and so on, is if you haven't shared your different aspects of your story with your audience for a while, then take this opportunity and a bit of a reminder, and yeah, go and start creating some posts, your what, your who, your where, your how, your when. I've created 2 or 3 this week, and I will continue on into next week with those, because it's just a way of sharing your story, and ultimately that's how we all connect as humans, and this is why it's all called social media. It is there for helping us to connect as well. And if we don't tell people about ourselves, and people can't know about ourselves and can't connect and go, do you know what? I want to go and buy her course. All right. So there we are. That's today's theme around what makes you unique, and what combination of things can you create to create that course that you really want to create, but perhaps you're telling yourself this story that there's no point because it's already been done before. We live in a very varied and infinite world, and I'm sure that with a bit of brainstorming, a pen and some post-its and some thought, then you can come up with something that is truly different from what's out there already. It's creating a business asset for you. You can make that investment in your time, and you make that investment once, and then you are generating future income for however long it is that you want to sell that course. And the other 2 aspects that also make things unique is your story and your marketing. Okay, so you can always outmarket people. You may have the same kind of thing, put more effort into marketing in that case. Okay, right, I shall go, and I'll leave you with those little tasks. Any questions, of course, then just drop me a message. I'm always willing to answer. And you know, these subjects for these little lives have usually come from questions and discussions I've had with people. So there we are. I'll leave you with that, and have a good long weekend for those of you at the UK, and I think in the States as well it's a long weekend for you as well. So let's hope we get a bit of sunshine. All right, I'll leave you all and catch you all later. Bye.